to acquire worldly knowledge, to listen to others' opinions. Today's focus: Moses listened to the good advice of a Gentile. Find Foods, 7 minutes a day, 1 Bible a year. Grace and peace, everyone. Today, our progress comes to Exodus chapters 17 to 20. Our key verses: Moses listened to his father-in-law and did everything he said. We know that when Moses was leading the Israelites out of Egypt, he was managing the congregation alone. 600,000 men, more than 2 million people. There are always some disputes. Many matters needed judgment. Moses was managing alone. His father-in-law, Jethro, a priest of Midian, came to visit. Seeing the situation, he offered Moses administrative advice. His father-in-law was a Gentile. Because Moses had fled Egypt and settled in Midian, he married a Gentile woman. Although he was a Gentile, and even a Gentile priest, yet can the words of a Gentile be listened to? Sometimes we fall into two extremes. One extreme is to listen only to fellow believers within the church, pastors, elders, and co-workers. This applies not only to matters of faith, but also to things like professional knowledge at work. This is one extreme. Another extreme is to seek answers entirely outside the faith. Doing so can easily cause one to lose the essence of faith itself. We must recognize that worldly insight, knowledge, and wisdom, much of it is useful and indeed comes from God. So, this account shows us, can we listen to the advice of Gentiles or non-believers? The answer is yes, because God speaks to us and gives counsel through various means. Just like earlier, Moses saw the burning bush in the wilderness. God spoke to him from the bush. This bush was not something sacred. It was very ordinary, seen everywhere. So therefore, advice from non-believers can be listened to. It does not mean only listening to believers 100%. Of course, regarding faith, we should listen more to pastors within the church, co-workers, and small group leaders, brothers and sisters encouraging one another. But much knowledge and accumulated experience can also be listened to. The book of Exodus is about out of death into life, out of Egypt into the wilderness. From the structure of Exodus, chapters 17 to 20 are at Mount Sinai and the giving of the 10 Commandments. During this process, Moses' father-in-law visited him. This further proves that Mount Sinai is in the Midian region, not the present Sinai Peninsula. Otherwise, travel would not have been so convenient. Moses' father-in-law gave advice. Let us look at the scripture. Moses' father-in-law replied, "What you are doing is not good. You and these people who come to you will only wear yourselves out. The work is too heavy for you. You cannot handle it alone. Listen now to me, and I will give you some advice, and may God be with you. You must be the people's representative before God and bring their disputes to him. Teach them his decrees and instructions, and show them the way they are to live and how they are to behave. But select capable men from all the people, men who fear God, trustworthy men who hate dishonest gain, and appoint them as officials over thousands, hundreds, fifties, and tens." As an observer, his father-in-law saw clearly that one person carrying it all was too heavy, and everyone was worn out. Many stood around him waiting in line, waiting for him to hear their cases. So he gave Moses advice to bring the people's cases before God, and to teach them decrees and instructions. That is to explain the rules for judgment, where the standards are. Tell them the general principles. Then all are to follow this rule, and also to select capable people. What kind of people are capable? They are those who fear God, are trustworthy, and hate dishonest gain. From this, we can see that what he said was right: to fear God, to be trustworthy, and to hate dishonest gain, so as to prevent bribery and all kinds of wrongdoing. These officials over thousands and hundreds are leaders of small groups. This delegation fits management principles. Continuing on, have them serve as judges for the people at all times, but have them bring every difficult case to you. The simple cases they can decide themselves. That will make your load lighter because they will share it with you. If you do this and God so commands, you will be able to stand the strain, and all these people will go home satisfied. Here we emphasize this again. I will give you some advice, and may God be with you. This phrase is very meaningful. This advice can be aligned with the will that comes from God. Is it possible for God to reveal his will through a non-believer? Of course it is. For example, laws made by non-believers, we must obey them. The world also says, honor your parents, and we too must follow it. When it comes to advice from others, for instance, in a small group, when you face difficulties at work, maybe professional matters, other brothers and sisters who understand can offer suggestions. These can be good suggestions, and in fact, it is help that comes from God. So may God be with you. This gets to the heart of the matter. The point of any human advice is that God's presence be with it. Therefore, we must learn to discern and filter. Here, we refer to the book of Proverbs. Plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors they succeed. Therefore, for the matters we plan, we must first seek counsel. We need to consult with many people and with a multitude of advisors so that our plans may succeed. When there is much good advice, we can listen and follow. So, whether we are pastors, elders, co-workers, or small group leaders, we must consult with others and have advisors. I will give you some advice, and may God be with you. Therefore, besides personal advice, fields like management, psychology, medicine, and all sciences, all branches of knowledge, are products of human insight. This is because such knowledge represents the accumulation of experience and wisdom compiled in books. Thus, we should always be learning. I studied computer science in college. Programming taught me rigorous logic. Everything must be very clear and sequential. My graduate studies were in management, which applies to running a business, leading a church, and sharing insights. All of this has been very helpful. Nowadays, the internet makes access incredibly convenient, so we can explore this knowledge. It applies whether we're managing a church, a small group, a company, or even our own family and children. The key is that God is with us. So these can all be good advice from non-believers. The key is that God is with you. Moses listened to his father-in-law and did everything he said, and it proved to be right and good. Please write in to receive fine food, 7 minutes Bible reading plans. A short time each day to finish the Bible in a year. Understand God's will and live an abundant life. Reading guide to Exodus. Exodus is about out of death into life, out of Egypt into the wilderness set in the Mosaic age. Chapter 17, water from the rock. Chapter 18, Moses' father-in-law visits. Moses listened to the good advice of a Gentile. Chapter 19, Israel at Mount Sinai. Chapter 20, the giving of the 10 Commandments. Today's focus, Moses listened to the good advice of a Gentile. Good advice and knowledge can come from non-believers. The key is that God is with you. Blessed is the one whose delight is in the law of the Lord, and who meditates on his law day and night. FineFoods7 minutes. See you tomorrow.